there are those that raise those allegations about, is there going to be profiling? Is there going to be this? Is there going to be that? Listen, we're tired of hearing that crap. That's BS. It's total BS. It's woke left crazy talk. We do what's right and we follow the law. And if you're here illegally, we're going to boot your butt out of this country. The priority is, as clearly pointed out, is the criminal illegal alien that's here committing crime. That's the number one priority. The second priority is certainly those that have deportation orders. That will fill up the capacity. But if you're here illegally and you're worried, and it's easier to go home than it is to worry every day, you're welcome to leave the country on your own volition. They are not our priority. If you're here working, you have your kids in school, you're paying your taxes, you're not the priority. It's the criminals. It's the people. This is our priority. The ones that have already been through the federal system and have simply told the federal government, we're not going home. Not only did we disobey the law by entering this country illegally, we're going to disobey the law by staying here. And we arrested a lady that turned out to be a victim of human trafficking. She hooked up with a human trafficker and said, I want to go to the United States, but I don't have any money. He said, don't worry about it. I'll get you. Where do you want to go? He's Miami. I'll get you to Miami. So he walks her up to the border under the Biden administration. And he said, now walk right across the border here and get on that bus and they'll take you to a receiving facility. And she did that with her child. She said, I arrived at the facility. They did a DNA swab on me and my daughter to make sure it was my daughter, and then took us to a processing room, filled out some paperwork, told me, and here's your form to fill out for your free food stamps, your EBT card, and here's the form to fill out so your daughter can get free insurance. And where is it you want to go? She said, Miami. Here's your voucher so you can travel to Miami for free. And then she said, so if you'll go here, you'll stay overnight, and then we'll put you on an airplane and let you go there. And oh, by the way, welcome to the United States of America. That's not our story, it's hers. So then she flies to Miami, where she's turned over to another human trafficker, because the human trafficker in Mexico is working. And she says, well, where do I work in order to pay back? He says, oh, you're going to prostitute. She says, I thought I was going to work. He said, oh, you are. And that's how we found her and how we rescued her. She thought she was going to come here and work in the fields, work in a restaurant, work in a grocery store. They put her out prostituting herself. That's what's going on. And if you think the person that human traffics this lady belongs in this country, you need a psychiatric appointment. They're victimizing a lot of the illegal aliens that are in this country. And we don't know about it because they're afraid to tell us. We want, whether you're legal or not legal, and you're being victimized, we need to know about that. But at the end of the day, look, our capacity, the federal government's capacity, is going to be wore out by just dealing with the illegals here committing crime and those with deportation orders. So everyone else can take it easy. They're not the priority. They're not the focus here. But at the end of the day, how did we get here? Sheriff Gualtieri said it very eloquently. Failed federal policy. An administration in the last 4 years that allowed them to pour over by the thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands. Obviously, they really didn't care about them either by putting them in this country under those circumstances. But they certainly didn't care about the people in this country when we killed, in this country, 250,000, 300,000 people with fentanyl that came across the southern border. Meth comes across the southern border by the metric ton. They're sending victims of human trafficking across the border. And we have all of the sheriffs here. Local law enforcement has been saying for a long time, there's a problem here. And the rules are so onerous with ICE. It's not the ICE folks that's trying to make it work. It's the administration that pushes these onerous ICE rules to where we can't help the federal government in the past. And what help we tried to give them was resisted because of the rules. The game has changed. And our governor in this state says every government agent in the state of Florida is going to cooperate to keep Florida safe, to create a national model. And that's supported by our Speaker of the House and the President of the Senate. We have a mission, and these sheriffs and their teams at home know how to accomplish missions. Give us the tools, change the rules. We'll keep the federal government busy doing what they should have been doing all along. There are those that raise those allegations about, is there going to be profiling? Is there going to be this? Is there going to be that? Listen, We're tired of hearing that crap. That's BS. It's total BS. It's woke left crazy talk. We do what's right and we follow the law. And if you're here illegally, we're going to boot your butt out of this country if you've committed crimes and are committing crimes. So tell everybody, take a deep breath, save that crazy talk for somebody else. And by the way, quit scaring the folks that are in this country legally and illegally but aren't committing any crimes into thinking that we're going to come run through their school or through their hospitals or through their neighborhoods. That's not it. We've got a plate full of illegal immigrants committing crime and warrants to deport those that have flaunted the system. And all this crazy talk just scares people that don't need to be scared. Just follow what the federal government tells you to do when they tell you to do it, okay?